Hello everyone and welcome back to Limitless Gaming Esports coverage of Thursday Formula 4. I had to think there for a second because I'm used to commentating Tuesdays. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Big Weir, also known as Jason. Yeah, we're back for Thursday Formula racing. I normally race today, but unfortunately, due to technical issues, I'm having to commentate at the moment. But I'm on my lonesome. I've got no cam. I'm used to having my cam, but I'm on my lonesome. So if anyone wants to keep me company in the comments, have a bit of a chat, feel free. I'm up for it. I like a bit of a laugh. You know, a bit of banter. But we're here at Circuit of Americas in USA. We've got our one-shot qualifying coming up, so it's going to start very, very, very shortly. Only 15 seconds. I think we've got 15, 16 drivers from memory. But yeah, so I need a bit of banter. I need a bit of action in the comments, lads. So please do feel free to leave a little comment, a little bit of interaction. I love it. You know, I love it. But yes, Circuit of Americas. Whoa! I was gonna say I'm not used to that there, but we're on track at the minute for the one-shot quali. We're on board with Taylor McKenzie at the minute, but he's gone right down to the bottom there from the start finish. Lewis F1 currently leading the way into turn 1. Kingsholm breaks very late for the looks and he's dropped down the order. He's got a bit of a bad exit there, but we're on board with Lewis, currently sitting P2, going around this twisty S section. I love this part of the track. It's just so fun to get it right, but if you get it wrong you'll lose so much time. One driver who looks like he has got it right is Crossfire Strikes. Kingsholm's retired. Must have been one of those drivers who got it wrong. So is H. Bosworth. Very, very easy to invalidate at that part of the track, definitely. But as we go down onto the back straight, so the first DRS straight, technically I suppose, if you're not including the start-finish straight, it looks like he's ahead at the moment. DRS activated, he's hugging that right line just to maximise how much of an exit he can get out of the big braking zone. And he's cut that corner nicely. Lewis F1 looks like he's just behind him at the minute. With Robin, one of the other Bentley cars, just behind as well. The Bentleys have done well all season, very, very consistently. They're really in the top 6 consistently, these guys. But it looks like they're trying to get at least 2 cars into the top 3 anyway. Crossfire looking like he's gonna come all the way unless he invalidates, and he does! He's invalidates. That'll promote James, our championship winner, to P1 unless he gets a bad exit here. Looks like him and Waitsy gets it in the end. Look at that tight split. That is absolutely nuts, that split. Top 3 separated by, what, half a tenth? Sorry about that, guys, a little technical difficulties there, but so yeah, starting grid, what a tight split there for the top 3, less than a tenth between them, but Waitsy and Robin are in the front row with James, our championship winner, in P3, with Shug's Life P4 in the 4, they'd be happy with that. BKS in P5 and 6 with Taylor McKenzie, Whitey Court, I like to call him XE in P8, and I didn't get time through the rest of the grid, so forgive me. But anyway, it was very, very, very tight in that qualifying. Like I say, it's very, very easy to overstretch the track limits here. Crossfire getting caught out by the second last corner. It was unfortunate for him, really, but yeah, so it looks like we're going to have a dry race, well, a dry sprint anyway. We won't know about the race until we load in, but dry sprint by the looks. No one's informed me of any dodgy weather on the way, so yeah, like I say, I don't think we need wet weather here to cause a bit of drama. It's a very difficult track to get right. I'm expecting high penalties. You know, like I've said already, the track limits are very, very strict around here, so I'm expecting potential high penalties as we get away in the formation lap. Waitsy leaves the way in the Porsche car. But yeah, Shug's Life fighting quite a stonky lap there, as I call it. Sitting P4 at the minute, with BKS sitting in P5 there, one of the other Porsche drivers. Taylor McKenzie, one of the Bentleys, in P6. Court, ooh, and they've a bit of a disqualification there. I don't know Port and actually got away with that there. It looks like they made a bit of contact coming out of turn 1 on the formation lap. Flea and Ring Racing, though, both made contact. We didn't see it, but they're going to have cold tyres for that race start, so they're going to have to watch out for that. Too, but Iggy Combo's down there in P11 with Crossfire Strikes in P12. Lewis F1 well out of position. We're used to seeing him in the top 5 at least. I'm assuming he's invalidated that lap somewhere as well. Similar sort of fate to Crossfire Strikes. Look at Germany, another driver who's shown his pace in the past. Like I say, we'll have to keep an eye on those guys coming up the order. H. Bosworth filling in as a reserve today. Yeah, one of the Tuesday drivers, one of the Alfa Romeos that anyone watches Tuesday. Knows I'm a big fan of those guys. His teammate Iggy Combo on Tuesdays up there in P11. King's Home in will prop up the rest of the grid from the back after what I'm assuming is that invalidation. But yeah, COTA, Circuit of the Americas, definitely a difficult track to get right. Me personally finds the cars tend to be a little bit tail happy around here, so I'll be expecting maybe 1 or 2 incidents, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a madness, I think. But coming round into the last 2 corners now, Waitsy. I think that's the AI have taken over the cars now. They're all settling, stopping all that weaving to get as much heat into the tyres as possible. Like I say, those 2 who got disqualified, Flea and Ring Racing, likely going to struggle off the start here, I'm expecting. I'll get the position changes and everything up for you though. There we go. But all the cars starting to filter into their positions now. Waitsy at the front of the grid. Waitsy only a reserve today as well for the Porsche team, so hopefully he can get them some points. I'm hoping for Matilda boys. I've actually only got H. Bosworth, so hoping H. Bosworth does a lot better because we need some points down at Toyota. But here we go. So we've got 4 or 5 red lights, and away they go. Bit of a poor camera angle there, but they've got away well. See if we can get through turn 1 cleanly. The 2 Bentleys. Oh, it's a big collision. One of the Bentleys is round. Not sure who that was. It looks like it was Taylor McKenzie. But other than him, it looks to be fairly clean and tidy through turn 1. There's a car going way wide there. I'm not sure what. People getting lost here at the S section. Got yellow flags. Not sure if some of them cars maybe have some damage. But Waitsy leads the way. Looks like he's opened a bit of a gap to Robin behind there. And James. Yeah, actually those 2 guys have opened up a bit of a gap quite quickly there. I wonder are these 2 going to disappear. We have yellow flags behind. Lewis F1 is retired. I'm not sure what's happening there. See if we can get a look. I don't know. But he's out, so that's going to have him starting right at the back of the grid for the sprint unless someone gets disqualified here. But it's unfortunate for Lewis. He's not having a good day here at the moment in USA. If we look down past the grid, I'm surprised that maybe wasn't a safety car. We're getting a yellow flag in sector 2 even though no one's there, so I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe a little bit of glitchiness going on with the lobby, but Crossfire Strikes after that disqualification. He's up 7 positions already. We've seen his pace in the past. We know he's got the pace to get himself back to that front row of the grid. He's picking people off one by one. It looks like he's going to go for a move on BKS down here, and he's dived it up the inside in the last corner. Can he get the exit though? Looks like he has. Terrible camera angle game, thanks very much for that. But as they go up the hill, Crossfire Strikes has got himself up the P4 from pretty much the back of the grid, to be fair to him, so definitely one to watch for the race as well. We've got virtual safety car. We've got, well, my buddy Exy with another retirement right at the back of the field. What I'm wondering is if this VSC will last long enough to get for any of these guys to consider a pit stop under this. I'm not sure if it will. But it might be worthwhile considering because our sprints are so short. They're only 14 laps. Pitting for a set of mediums now might save you a pit stop in the long run. Might let some people jump right to the front. H. Bosworth having some connection issues there. It looks like he's dropped behind Lewis and Exy, even though they've both DNF. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but we'll keep an eye on it anyway. Oh, there you go, he starts to come back up again. But no, great start from Crossfire Strikes, great start from Iggy Combo. down there in P8, starting P11. Lucas said Germany, one of those drivers I said one to watch on the formation lap, has got himself up into P9 there as well. Kingsholm, after I believe he did start from the back, has got himself up to P10 as well. Too. So yeah, the Bentleys once again looking strong, but also the Ford team making up positions quite early. The VSC's now ended. Let's see what's happening at the front, if any gains made. Let's say those two Bentleys right on the gearbox of that Porsche and P1 at the minute. DRS not yet activated, but I believe it will be this lap if my maths is correct. And there's Shug's Life, the first victim of the penalties. 3-second penalty for track limits, and there's DRS active now, so they go up the hill into turn 1. That'll leave the Porsche driver of Waitsy a little bit vulnerable, but it looks like he's been saving a lot of battery there to try and hope to defend off some of those positions. But looks like Robin in P2, he's had an incident. Oh, it looks like he's lost it on the exit of turn 1. He's put it in the wall by the looks. It's going to be unfortunate for him, because he was looking good for at least starting in the front row there. But now he's going to have to start all the way down there in P14 at the moment. But Waitsy gets away well again. He's opened up a 1.5 second gap to James behind. But look who's in the waiting. Crossfire strikes, ready to pounce and make a move on him down this DRS straight. He takes a tighter line. He's now alongside him, and he's going to get the DRS. James doesn't. He should have a move done before he gets to the end of the straight anyway, comfortably. He gets around him. But who's this? BKS right behind, trying to brake. Oh, he braked very late there, trying to nearly push James through that corner. Got full course yellow going on, but I don't think it's a safety car. I'm not sure what the issue is with the flags, but it seems the stewards have lost their heads today. Nothing really new there, let's be honest. BKS looks like he's going to try and punch on James soon, but Crossfire Strikes has just disappeared. He's pulled a second on James already. Like I said, we know Crossfire's got a lot of pace. He showed it in the past. I think he not mind me admitting that some mistakes that he's made during the races has cost him quite dearly. With a potential, I'll just get a little news in here, there's a potential that the lobbies may be glitched, which would explain the 3-course yellows. Apparently nobody can overtake, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to keep an eye on reports at the minute. But I'm not sure what's going on here. It looks like ESports were travelling slow on the start-finish straight, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But yes, Crossfire Strikes is now right on the back of Waitsy. Crossfire well within the DRS range and well within striking distance on this back straight. See how good of an exit he gets out of this corner. Waitsy gets it away well, but a little bit understeering, a little bit of a tail-happy car in front from Waitsy. We'll see if Crossfire can get the move done down this start-finish straight, or start-finish straight, back DRS straight. He's closing up anyway, tucks himself into the inside. Waitsy goes a little bit defensive, but Crossfire gets the move done, showing a lot of pace at the moment. Defends well after it as well. See if he can try and disappear off into the distance. I'm expecting a couple of pit stops to happen soon. Tyre degradation very, very high on this track. Waitsy did try for a move up the inside there, but unfortunately not able to make it stick. But tyre degradation on this track very, very high. Medium compound tyre seems to be the best race tyre, but in regards to pure pace, it's definitely the softs. James is closing up in the back of Waitsy again. He was about 1.5 seconds back, but all that fighting with Crossfire has brought him back into the fight. Both cars getting DRS, so James is going to be hoping that Crossfire disappears off into the distance, give him a chance to have a strike at the Porsche driver in front. As well. Further down the grid though, we'll look at Iggy Combo. He's kind of in a world of his own there at the minute. Medium compound tyres, which is going to make him a lot faster in that second stint. Starting on the mediums, you know, the car's a lot lighter at the end of the race. If you're pitting on the softs, you're going to have a significant pace advantage over those guys ahead. Also, if there's a safety car, he's going to be in a great position. Back at the front, we'll look at Crossfire and James. Looks like, yeah, Waitsy doesn't have DRS. James is looking like he's trying to make a move. He goes around the inside. Brakes very late, but Waitsy brakes later, and he holds on to that position just. And that opens the door. BKS is just waiting to hopefully capitalise on a mistake that some of these guys make in front. Looks like James ran a little bit wide there. BKS right in his gearbox at the minute, pushing around. Like I say, this corner always scares me, especially when you're running in dirty air. Often makes you run a little bit wide, but all 4 drivers coming through nice and clean. Somewhat surprised at the lack of penalties. Now this is where I jinx everything, and I always seem to jinx things, but surprised about the amount of penalties as Shug's Life comes into the pits. Like I said, the track limits on this track are really, really strict, so I'm surprised that we haven't seen some more track limit penalties so far. But we had 3 drivers come into the pits there, speeding in the pit lane penalty for ring racing, but 3 drivers come into the pit there, so it'll promote Kingsholm into P6 on those medium tyres. It seems to be working for him so far. We'll see if he can get a bit of an overcut on those guys in the pit stops at the minute, but we'll come back to that later. James, BKS and Waitsy all in a little DRS train here. BKS runs a little bit wide. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get a warning for that. Looks like he's dropped off the back of James a little bit, but James still trying to maybe line up a move on Waitsy in front. Waitsy burning the battery, hopefully trying to defend that position. Doesn't look like James is close enough at the minute. Even with DRS, he hasn't got the overspeed to try and get that move done down in the. Oh, and he goes for it anyway. Oh, I thought he was going to go for a dive bomb. He's scaring me. He's scaring me, man. But yes, so we're up to lap 6 now. Waitsy's still holding on to that position. So Court, one of the other 4 drivers, currently sitting in P5. He's in a little world of his own at the minute. Just need to put some consistent lap times in and hopefully try and close up to the back of those 4 in front. Could go for an undercut here. Won't be surprised if we see it, because I don't think he's going to want to fight too hard with his teammate, who looks like he's closing up a little bit. But we've got a couple of drivers in the pits. We've got BKS and the pits now. Means James is promoted to P2. He's going to go a little bit longer. Waitsy thinking he and then try and defend that position again. Kingsholm now promoted to P4. Again, like I said earlier, he's on those medium tyres. He's got to be thinking about maybe pitting within the next lap or 2 and then use and abuse those soft tyres right until the end of the race. Just so you know, we've got a comment coming up. So custom teams, I see. Yes. So let me see. That's DJ Death Dragon. Love the name, by the way. Definitely rolls off the tongue. We've got the blue forward. So Crossfire here in first position. He's in the Ford team. We've got James here in P2. So that's the Bentley team. The Porsche team in P5, 6, and 7. We've Monster Energy, the green team, the highest running driver at the minute is Lucas A. Germany. We've got Toyota, which is H. Bosworth, which is unfortunately my team, DJ Death Dragon, but not doing too well at the moment. Sitting down in P13 at the minute, so I'm hoping there'll be some improvements. Crossfire is really starting to open up that gap out in front now to James, but I suppose he's maybe feeling a little bit vulnerable to the undercut from Waitsy and BKS behind. We'll see if he decides to dive into the pits this lap, or he's going to think he's going to go for another. Dives in. James also dives into the pits. So does Court. We'll wonder will Kingsholm decide to go on. Is he going to pit now? He's going to pit now, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, and Court's hit the wall of the pit lane! He's coming into the pit lane way too fast. He's got himself a 5-second penalty. The lack of downforce in that car has caused him to brake a little too early, or a little too late. So that's going to cost him massive time. We'll see what happens here at the front. We've got Crossfire does come out in first. Flea has now promoted himself up into second position. Very, very close pit exit there. Waits, he's still got James, but that was very, very close into turn 1. Back into that DRS train as well, and there's another Porsche in front. If Waitsy can get around that Porsche, maybe his teammate can hold up James behind, give him a little bit of breathing room. A lot of the drivers running wide there just at the end of the access, and I know that's a strict part of the track. Like I say, the penalties are starting to come in a little bit now, but you're going to start racking up track warnings if you keep doing that. But yeah, Crossfire, man who started, I think it was P12, he's managed to get himself up at the first. Like I say, he's always shown his pace, but if you look just behind, we've got Waitsy manages to get the move done on Flea. James is trying to find a way up the inside, and he does. Follows Waitsy through. Flea trying to get a move up the inside there, but unable to make it stick, unfortunately. Like I say, those old tyres are not going to be much worth a particular lot at the minute. So I'm expecting Flea maybe to consider a pit stop this lap. I'm assuming he's holding out for maybe a safety car, but it hasn't come to him so far. No, runs very, very wide there. And there's Crossfire, gets himself a penalty. Waits, he also has a penalty. Let's have a look at the penalties and see. So that actually, it might do James some favours. Crossfire is just clear of Waitsy at the moment, but if James can get a move on, and he can get under the back of Crossfire, he might still secure himself pole position for the main race. BKS also one who might capitalise quite heavily from the mistakes of the drivers in front, but of course they have to avoid those penalties themselves as well. E-Combo gets a move done on Taylor McKenzie there as well, coming out of turn 2 it looks like. Taylor also with another driver with a 3-second penalty, but here's Kingshome coming now. He's got those fresh softs on now, no penalties, he just has to push as hard as he can, try and get himself up as many positions as possible before, just to help him out in the race really, that's speaking the obvious. James manages to get the move done though, he's got the move done on Waitsy, down the back DRS straight, had the overspeed this time, burnt a lot of his battery doing it, looks like Waitsy has saved a little bit, I'm assuming he's going to try for a move maybe. What I would wonder is though, is Waitsy going to consider letting his teammate go? No penalties, like I say, Waitsy's going to have to try and overtake James and clear that 3-second gap before the end of the race, and I think that might be a big ask, whereas if he lets his teammate go, he might have a better opportunity at that. Crossfire strikes, that's a new fastest lap of the race, the Flea runs very wide, he's got to consider coming into the pits, and he does. Very, very long stint on those softs, and like I said, the tyre degradation on this track is ridiculous. Ring Racing gets himself another 3-second penalty. I'm assuming he served. Did I see? Definitely see someone speeding into the pit lane, but was it Court maybe? Maybe he served that whenever he entered the pits, I'm not sure, but I don't see it on the timing sheets now. We'll have a look at these three at the front again. They've been at it all race long. BKS, Waitsy and James all come through the S's nicely. It looks like Waitsy's dropped off the back of James a little bit. James has expelled a lot of his battery though, and that might leave him vulnerable under DRS. We'll see there as they come down the back, DRS straight. Is Waitsy getting enough pace? James has gone defensive early. It looks like he sees that red light flash and he knows he's got low battery. Surely he's going to go for the move. Breaks as late as he dares into turn. Oh, and that was a little bit touch and go there. James tries to keep it up the inside, but Waitsy's able to carry more speed around the outside, but James isn't giving up the fight just yet. Can he get a better exit? They're still going at it, nearly banged wheels. James trying to go around the outside of this long sweeping right hander. Like I said, I love this corner, but it scares me every time. You just got to pray that the back end does not give way. Here they go down onto the start finish straight. DRS will be enabled for James. He's going to try and get a move done into turn 1, but he's got no battery left. Waitsy continues to save, but Waitsy doesn't want to give him the position easily. He goes up the inside, holds on to that position for now. I think he's maybe trying to hold up James and potentially allow his teammate to get an overtake. That would be the ideal scenario for... Oh, they're literally head to tail. BKS right on top of that gearbox of James. He's just waiting for his opportunity to pounce, but he does have a lot more battery than what James does, and may we see a move down into this corner maybe. He's gonna wait until the DRS straight anyway. He needs to get a good exit though. Runs a little bit wide. Need to watch this for the track limits. James out of battery, is looking like he's gonna go for the move on Waitsy. Does Waitsy consider letting him go? Oh, with a late lunge, and they make contact, but James and BKS stay on track. That was almost a major incident there. BKS very, very ambitious, but I respect the attempt in trying. Wait, see, dives up the inside of his teammate. Doesn't look like there's any team orders going on today down at Porsche, but they're letting James open up a little bit of a gap at the minute. And if they're not careful, he's going to drop out of. They're going to drop out of DRS range of him. I think they're just going to hold on to it for now. Wait, he has lost the position to his teammate. But look at this, Lucas in Germany. Where's he come from? He wants to join the fight. There's 3 laps left of this, and BKS gets a time penalty. That's exactly what James wanted. So this is looking great for. I didn't even see him coming. Lucas in Germany. He's managed to get himself on the back of these guys. It looks like he's potentially going to start top 3 here if he can avoid the penalties. That driver I was talking about earlier, Kingsholm, also coming up to the back of his teammate, looking like he may start P6 if he can behave himself. Chug's Life ahead of him gets another 3-second penalty, so it puts him up to 6. But Kingsholm really, really flying at the minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fastest lap attempt from him. But back at the front again, BKS right on the gearbox of James. He also has a 3-second penalty now. It's an even playing field at the front. Anyone can get this. Like I said, Crossfires is just gone. He's just chilling. He's having a great time. These 3 at the back having to work for everything. James gets the move done. Well, sends a move up the inside. BKS trying to stick it around the outside, and it looks like he might get away with it. Defends well into the corner, but gets a bit of a bad exit. And they make contact, but oh, these 2 are fighting. Give everything they have just for P2 in the main race. I hope we see more of this in the actual race, because this is amazing stuff from these 3. Wait, see, sitting in the waitings. Oh, and James runs a little bit wide. Let's not leave him a little. And so does James. James runs really wide. That'll leave him a little bit vulnerable going down this start-finish straight. Wait, see, looks like he's a little bit far back though. All these drivers have depleted so much of their battery. Waits, he's the only one over 10% at the minute. So if he can get this right, he might get himself up in position. Lucas in Germany though must be rubbing his hands. Let's see where he started on the grid. So he's up 9 positions. He might end up starting in the front row of the grid if he can get this right. Just needs to behave himself for 2 more laps. He's well within striking distance of these guys in front. You've got blue flag cars. Oh, not my Toyota. No, not my Toyota. Having an absolute nightmare there with Toyota today. With only 1 driver, and he's been lapped already. Let's hope that's not going to be a repeat for the main race. But let's have a look at Lucas A. Germany. He's going to sit chill, but can't wait to see get the move done on James. It looks like he's got the overspeed at the minute. Gets the move done comfortably into the braking zone. BKS now next up the road. We did see earlier didn't look like there was any teamwork going on, but Waits, he's dropping out of the DRS range at the minute, so he's going to have to make it up before he gets to that start finish straight. Rain Racing now gets himself another track limit penalty. Ooh, this is getting very, very dicey stuff. Lucas A. Germany right in the gearbox of James now. If Lucas manages to get him now, it's gonna be more or less game over. But I think he's maybe just wiser staying where he is, because why risk it? He's well within P2 at the minute. If Kingsholm can get a move on, he's going to be up there as well. But I think that might be a bit of an ask to rein that time in a bit. I think he needs a couple more. Lucas A. Germany gets a penalty. No, it's a complete even playing field at the front. Lucas A. Germany has to get that move done. It did say that penalties may become a factor in this in the race. I didn't think it would play this much of a factor in the sprint, but this is going to be for everything now. BKS has a decent gap to the guys behind him, but waits, he brakes really late and has closed it rightly before the exit. Waits, he gonna, but James has dropped off the back end, and is that Lucas in the wall on the last lap? I've jinxed him, guys. I said it earlier. I've jinxed him. I've done it again. I need to stop wishful thinking. He's put it in the wall. He's now dropped himself well down the order. Kingsholm now the only one who can capitalise from these penalties at the moment. Back to the guys at the front. Crossfire Strikes comfortably ahead. Waitsy looks like he's got BKS and James. BKS, I suppose, one of the bigger winners. James in here. King in the Porsche. Taylor McKenzie comes in 9th. Court a little bit off, so I don't think he's going to be able to capitalise on the penalties. But we'll have a look and see what sort of penalties he has at the moment, if I can find it. So Flea in P11 there's 6 seconds, Court as 3, so unless there's any drama, at the risk of jinxing it, unless there's any drama, it looks like we have our starting order for the main race. Ooh. I'm not sure, sort of forgive me guys, I just want to double check. I'm getting a notification that the broadcast has been a bit dodgy there. I'm not sure what happened, but I think I'm still live. Can someone let me know? I don't even know, but I'm just gonna assume I am. But yes, so we were gonna have our starting order for the main race. I hope it's just as exciting as what that sprint race was like, because that was a bit nuts. Crossfire Strikes, driver of the day, and rightfully so. Had a great sprint there. Starting from well down the order and got himself, I think it was about a 7 or 8 gap lead at the front. So if he can replicate what he did at Imola a couple of weeks ago, I think he'd be a happy boy. Trying to move himself up those standings. I'm not even sure where he is in the standings, but he joined the league late, so he was never really within the fight in the championship, but the way he's been driving in these last 2 races, definitely would have been a contender. I'm just waiting for the order. There it is. So we've got Crossfire Strikes, starts on pole, also picked up the fastest lap in the sprint, but it does not count for points in the sprint. Waitsy comes in at P2 and BKS in P3. James P4 on the grid with King's Home P5 and Iggy Combo P6. Lucas A. Germany and Shug's Life in 7 and 8. Taylor McKenzie and Court in 9 and 10th. Flea the Scotsman in P11 and Ring Racing F1 in P12. H. Bosworth comes home P13 and Robin after that unfortunate incident earlier comes home 14th. Looks like he was running really well in the race, which is a real shame for him. Exy and Lewis prop up the bottom of the grid then. So a couple of drivers with some work to do. Definitely a lot of drama I think maybe to come, but no, a couple of drivers at the bottom of the grid there have shown a lot of pace. I won't be surprised if we're seeing some big gainers in this race, but we're just gonna get the grid set up. I'm gonna just end the stream here and start a new one in 2 minutes, so I will talk to you guys very shortly.